What is going on, everybody? I haven't done this in a long time, but here I am. We're going into a full moon tomorrow, and I thought it would be a very good idea to talk to you about why I think journaling is very life changing. Some people may disagree, and that's okay. It's not for everybody, but I can tell you why it worked for me and why it continues to work for me. And hopefully, it helps on your journey to healing. And we'll get started. So, I strongly believe that when you know how you think, you can ultimately change your life. So, for example, I used to think that money was hard to come by. I used to think that I wasn't lovable. I was unworthy. I used to have all these deep underlying thoughts of being insecure and trying to prove myself and all, just very detrimental healing thoughts, or not healing thoughts, very detrimental thoughts that ultimately my body wasn't in compatibility with, right? So, what I started to do about 15 years ago. So, if anybody can understand, this is why I don't believe in quick fixes. I believe that we need to acknowledge where your body's at and we need to, so to speak, do the work. It doesn't have to be hard necessarily, but getting from point A to point B can ultimately take time, right? So, what I will tell you is how I approach journaling and how I approach getting somebody out of a quote unquote rut or a I don't even want to, I hate the word low frequency because I think all frequencies are helpful. And I think that when we just are constantly, are in this thought process of always trying to raise our vibration or raise, there's a lot of frequency. I mean, like, think about that. Think about what I just did, right? So we talk about like the chakras of the system. If I'm only thinking about hiring or going up in vibration, what am I doing? I'm ignoring the bottom half, right? So we want to be thinking about all of these states and all of these areas of vibration so that we can ultimately thrive in life. So what I want you to understand with journaling is that it's really what we're doing is we're really seeing how you think now so that we can over time really start to reimagine it and rediscover those thoughts and see those thoughts on paper. And this is why I say on paper and not on a computer. If you want to type out thoughts on a computer, or on your phone, that's fine. But when you write things out with a pen, it is a direct connection from your heart to paper, right? So you can see things very clearly. You're putting your energy quite literally into the journal and into the paper. So it creates more of a reality, more of an electrical reality, because we are electrical. And I think that that's something that we aren't discussing in the world. And people who are missing that are missing a big part of healing. So you pinpoint, and I'm going to give you like maybe 3 to 4 steps, and we're going to call it a day. You pinpoint how you think about a subject, whether it's money, relationships, your career. Truthfully, anything. Do you have a disease, or do you have an ailment or an illness in your body that you want to heal? Do you constantly tell yourself that there's no way I'm going to heal this? There's no way I'm going to get that relationship. Well, what you're thinking is that you're living in lack, right? So if you're constantly living in that state of lack, do you think you're going to get to the next place? No. So you don't realize how much your thoughts dictate your future and your present. So if you can get yourself out of this constant state of believing that you can't, you're probably not going to, right? A lot of health and a lot of healing comes down to belief systems and believing in yourself and believing in your body to bring that thing to you, right? So if your belief system is that I can't, I won't, I'm afraid, it's too much, I don't deserve it, you probably will sabotage yourself. And that's coming from experience. I've done it. I've sabotaged myself over and over from like 20 to 30s, early 30s. And when I finally started to realize that I was sabotaging myself, because quite honestly, my belief system was that I didn't deserve it. Well, you probably don't. But it's not that you actually don't. It's that you believe you don't, right? So let's take, for example, somebody comes into my office and I've been working with them for a while or even a couple of months, right? And then they stop. that's not a reflection on me. That's a reflection on somebody doesn't realize, or somebody in that state, they typically, and it's no judgment, it's just, it's a fact at this point, right? And it's per person. So this is just, it's a thought process that we have to like unlearn and then relearn and then find little problem areas and, reapproach it, right? All life is about seeing something and approaching it with a problem solving attitude versus a victim attitude, right? So if somebody comes in and they're not seeing a result, or they're not seeing a change, it's probably not because their program or something isn't working. It's probably because they don't believe deep down that they can get better, right? So what I'm saying, and what I mean by that, is that don't blame the system wherever you're going, right? Doesn't need to be here with Honor Your Health. It can be with any practitioner, anywhere that you're getting help. If you don't believe that thing to work, you're probably not going to get a different result. And I hate to say that because no one really talks about this, because I think, we're all trying to get that quick fix or what have you. But in the reality of it is that if you don't believe that you can get better, you won't. It's that simple. So you have to start looking at belief systems. It's just like, if you don't believe that you can be abundant and prosperous, you probably won't. If you believe that you're bad with money, what do you think you are? Probably bad with money. If you never believe that there's a sight getting out of a bad relationship, or you're never going to fall in love with that person, or attract the right person for you, you're probably not going to, right? And it's not a negative thing. I think we have to stop looking at everything as so black and white, negative and positive. We need to find some gray here, right? And understanding that a lot of what we're bringing into our life is how we believe and what we believe about ourselves. So the more you can look at yourself honestly and not in a judgment way. I don't look at people with judgment. And if they do believe that, it's probably coming from somewhere deep down, thinking that they haven't been heard. And all I need to do is acknowledge, I want you to know I'm listening to you. And that's all I need to tell you, right? So my point in saying this is that, one, we need to address the belief system. Two, we need to start asking ourselves and asking yourself, do I believe that I can get this? If I don't, why? And then the third is, we need to release and figure and have a modality, go to a modality that we know can release that emotion for you to feel it. Because what's been happening is that you've been repressing and suppressing that emotion for so long that you can't go to a new level. You can't reach higher energies and lower energies in the root chakra and balance and all these things, because you don't believe you can, right? So once we start healing that and bringing the system back into balance, both nutritionally, fascially, all emotionally, spiritually, this is all about bringing the body back into harmony, right? So the more we can address it and face it versus going, oh no, I don't. Well, if you're that hard against it, you probably do, right? If you're that scared of it, we probably need to lean into it. I always tell people, if you're afraid of it, we need to lean into it, because the only way through, and the only way through that that blockage or that belief is through it, right? We need to look at it head on and go, why? Why is that belief system there? Oh, well, I numbed myself. Why did you numb yourself? It's like, it's these deep things, again, that the body knows. Your bodies are so freaking smart. It's unfathomable, and it's so cool. That's why I love what we get to do every single day, right? Because we get to sincerely look at the body and the person as an energetic being that is like radiating, wanting to get better, right? And I'm constantly reminding people in every session, you're here for a reason, because deep down, you believe in yourself to get better. So we need to start changing the belief system. So that's 3 things now, right? So we have writing down the belief system, asking yourself, why is the belief system there? What is going on? Releasing it, and then we have to rewrite it, which basically means if you can start with a statement of gratitude every single day, right? At this point, I have like 10 that I write every single day and every morning. And sometimes they change based on like what's showing up in my life, right? But if I can rewrite my brain and what I've been taught and how I think, I'm going to be a pretty powerful person in my own life. And I'm going to be a very happy and fulfilled person because guess what? I took the power back and said, wait a minute, that's not what I want in my life. Now, again, it doesn't change overnight because when you start writing these things down, you start going, I am so grateful that I make X amount of dollars. I am so grateful that I easily have a healthy body and an abundant body. You don't yet believe that. You just started to energetically get to that place where you're ready for that. But it could take a minute. And the reason why it can take a minute is because you've been in a belief system that your body doesn't heal. You've been in a belief system that I don't deserve this. I don't deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be miserable, right? Because that's again what we've been conditioned to believe is that nope, this is too good to be true. I'm not allowed to feel this good. Feeling this good means that I'm going to have to like let this part of me die off. And I'm going to tell you this honestly, you guys, when you start to get better, things in your life will die off because there is death that has to happen. Death doesn't mean someone literally dying. It just means like there's going to be certain areas where you start to look at your life in a way of maybe that doesn't really, vibrate, so to speak, with who I'm becoming, right? Maybe this person who I really was like great friends with for 10 years or 15 years doesn't mean we have to be nasty or doesn't mean we have to be like, we're done, right? It just means we're energetically not on the same page anymore. And that's okay. And I don't think it needs to be, I think we all look at these things as, one way or the other, because we've just been so conditioned into like hard way this, right? As opposed to like, wow, I learned so much from that person, or wow, that person taught me a lot about me and I'm ready to just like move on energetically. And that's okay. And that's actually so freaking powerful that we just need to lean into that and lean into the positive and the groundedness of, wow, I've grown. And that's a good thing, right? I think we're all trying to be right all the time, or we're all trying to have it figured out. Stop trying to figure everything out all the time. Sometimes your body just wants to be in the moment. Most of the time, actually, your body just wants to be in the moment and let things happen naturally. We've just been taught to control. We've been taught to manifest everything. Manifestation happens when you're not doing all the time, right? Manifestation happens when you put something out there and you let it go and watch it flourish, right? There was a guy that I used to listen to that popped up in my feed the other day, and he said, when you're like becoming a plant person, or you have a plant that you're putting in your window, do you sit there and watch it all day and water it all day? No, you put it in the environment, you cultivate it, you water it, you fertilize, you do what you have to do. You see if it likes the light that it's in. If not, you move it, right? Like you're constantly recalibrating the plant, right? It's kind of what you're doing with your system and with your body is you're constantly recalibrating. Is this the right person for me? I don't know. Or am I about to sabotage this because I don't believe I deserve it? Again, what's that negative thought, or what's that thought that you constantly believe in your brain to go, I don't deserve this, when you probably really do deserve it, but you're afraid of, again, the cost or whatever. And again, what is that saying about your brain? What are you thinking about your abundance in terms of monetary abundance, right? You don't deserve the money. We need to start looking at your brain and how you think about these things, because guess what? When you start seeing on paper how you think about all this stuff, you will be amazed at how you go, damn, I am a jerk to myself. I am not nice. And when you start really seeing how not, like you wouldn't talk this way to your best friend, your mom, your dad, you wouldn't talk like this to anybody, your worst enemy, you wouldn't talk like this to, right? But you talk like that to yourself. And when you can see how badly you talk to yourself, you're going to start to go, I don't like that. I hope. That's the hope, right? But I really do believe that people don't even know how badly they speak to themselves. So it's like head trash a bit. And until you do that, you're not going to see a change, because you just believe what you believe now, which is Money is hard to come by. We've all been taught that whole like money doesn't grow on trees. It's complete crap. I hate to tell you, it's complete crap. And what it does is it puts this limitation on you that says, if I'm not constantly doing, there's no way. And I'm going to tell you right now, there is. So I hope this helps you. What I'm going to tell you again, the 4 steps are: write out the negative thought, honestly, write out the negative belief, the negative belief that you have about said situation, and write it honestly. Number 2, go to your belief system and ask why. Why do I feel this way? What was it, or where was it that, and give it some time. If you're just doing this for the first time, it's going to take a minute because you've never asked yourself this question, right? So go into your subconscious and let it ruminate and let it process. I guarantee you, when you go to bed, something's going to wake you up in the middle of the night, or you're going to wake up the next morning and you're going to go, oh my God, it was that moment at Christmas 25 years ago when so-and-so got that gift and I got a bigger gift, but I was told that I couldn't look at that. Whatever the belief system was, right? That made you think whatever you are in your life now, okay? So that's the why. The third is we need to start releasing it, which means, talking to somebody who can actually help you get this stuff off of your body. And then, in a very healthy, productive way. And then 4 is rewrite the story. And you can actually do that before you see someone, because I did that before I saw any practitioner, or started doing the work on my own. But then you start rewriting the story. And by that, I mean, how do you want to live your life in the next 5 to 10 years? How do you want to feel? What do you want to bring in? Easily, right? Start thinking ease into the next 10 years of your life. Everything doesn't need to be hard and weighted and, right? Stressful, right? We can enter into the next 10 years, if not 20 years of your life, vibrant and not weighted down. So that would be the fourth part to this journaling, right? Would be re-journaling and re-looking at how you believe about yourself, the belief systems that you have about yourself. And then I will guarantee you, to not tomorrow, maybe not in a month, maybe not even in a year, but it will come. And the reason why it takes long is because these belief systems are so deeply rooted in your subconscious and deeply rooted in your energetic field that until you start to look at it, it will not, and be kind to yourself as you move through it, it will not change. So as you write, some of these things will change quickly and I will tell you this, don't set yourself up for disaster and for failure, which when I say that, if you make, $2,000 a month and you want to make 50, let's start a little easier. Let's maybe say, okay, I make 5. I'm so happy that I make $5,000 a month or whatever. Don't let your system, I believe personally, from what has worked for me, in slowly building to that next level, because that's how I can see, wow, I did that. It might have taken me a year or 2, but over time we have to celebrate the win, right? And I think the more we make the jump slower and make it a little bit realistic, so to speak, because we're still living in a physical world. So the more you can look at it in a physical sense of, okay, it took me, I make 2,000 now. I'd like to make 5 in, give it a deadline, next 6 months to a year. I'd like to be making 5. Okay. And then you need to start believing that you're worthy of that, and you're bringing it into and to do that, you're writing it every single day until your system is like, yeah, I deserve that. That's mine. I feel that. Because until you feel like you have it, you're never going to bring it into your current reality. I hope this helps. Let me know if you need help or have questions about this, because I do this stuff all day long and it works, guys. It just takes practice and it takes consistency and it takes truly like not giving up. You have to just keep pressing forward, even when things get rough and hard and things start dying off and things get scary. It's literally about going, well, wait, I have evidence of making a little bit more this month, or I have evidence of somebody, I started to love myself more, or wow, my body's healing more. You have to find evidence every day of the belief that you want. All right. Have a great day. Have a great week. Happy full moon. Don't go crazy because these bugs are out and they don't care. All right. Have a great day. Have a great week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.